Hey folks, okay, so today an official poster was released for the revival. This poster right here.
Drink it in, man.
It's a pretty poster. We get to see how the guys are going to look after the time jump. Now, it's supposed to be an 8 or 9 year time jump, making Bobby around 21 and Hank and the guys would be around 50. And yeah, I can see this as 50-year-old versions of the guys. And if you look around, you'll notice that they went out of their way to show that it's probably set in the present day, with the delivery drone surprisingly delivering alcohol, a 5G cell tower that I'm sure Dale has all kinds of theories about, or maybe he's the one that's strangely calm about it, who knows. We see a Megalo Eats container on the back of a vehicle. I'm guessing that's some kind of food delivery. Maybe Hank can finally get his meatloaf sandwich from the Arland Barn.
The Arland Barn, best meatloaf in the county, and now serving sandwiches.
Or at least one that possibly doesn't have a bite taken out of it. It's unclear if Bill ordered the food, delivered the food, or, knowing Bill, possibly both. I could definitely see Bill doing something like DoorDash or Grubhub or Uber Eats, which is what I figure Megalo Eats is a parody of. He looks a little older and heavier, but seems like his hairline is still pretty much holding out where it was. Boomhauer looks to be glued to a tablet. He's graduated from Ginny Cam, I can tell you that. And of all the guys, as far as we can see, he looks like he has aged the most. Yeah, that time skip looked like it was a hard time for old Boomhauer. We can't see much of how Dale's aged due to him wearing a VR headset, but it is interesting that he's holding a vape rather than a cigarette. So it seems Dale may have finally put the coffin nails down. How much you want to bet that vape is made by Manitoba? You know they're going to figure out a way to get his money. Dale also has traded in his normal Mack truck hat, or the sometimes used Mason mower hat, for what looks like a rip-off Bass Pro Shop hat that simply says Bait Shop. Hank looks like a slightly older Hank. He's wearing a shirt more like Hal, so yeah, I wonder if he'll show up. And if nothing else, it looks like they're still drinking Alamo beer. I'm also guessing from the top of the umbrella in the background that they still have the same patio set and they were never able to fully upgrade to the Gatsby collection as they'd hoped to. Down here, I see what looks to be a scooter. I'm thinking it might be one of those rentable scooters that somehow end up everywhere, typically because of teenagers. I don't have much first-hand experience with them because my city doesn't have them, but I dealt with them and their teenage show-off riders in Denver once on a trip, so yeah, they were annoying, and it seemed like everybody other than the people riding the scooters hated the scooters. South Park did a funny episode about it. We still don't have an official air date yet. IMDb says May 25th, but I don't see that happening considering there is a sneak peek event coming up on May 30th where hopefully we'll get more information. I mean, come on now, guys. It's like The Prisoner over here. We want information.
We want information. Information. Information.
So, let's talk about this revival. What do we know? Well, let's rip this band-aid off right now. Lady Bird is either already dead or she dies early in the revival. I didn't figure she'd make it to the revival considering she was already almost twice as old as the typical pure-blood Georgia Bloodhound's lifespan. But I thought that maybe they'd do the whole Doc Brown replaces Copernicus with Einstein after Copernicus passes away thing. Yeah, in case you're not aware, those aren't the same dog, and you know, they just have Hank replace Lady Bird with another bloodhound. But apparently that's not the case, as we saw in the leaked storyboard, which are probably for the second season. Yeah, that's a little yappy dog named Caesar that Hank apparently doesn't like, but in the long run he grows to love. Min and Con are either split up or having issues. Does anyone else think that Min has a Lois Griffin look going on here with the hair? Speaking of hair, Con's hairline has certainly receded. It's possibly from stressing about how to pay for Connie's college. And to go ahead and address this, yes, Con's voice actor was recast. Rather than being voiced by Toby Huss,
the strongest man in the world.
Yeah, I'm never gonna not do that. He's now going to be voiced by Ronnie Chang. And as long as he does a good job, I don't have a problem with it. Toby Huss may or may not be stepping into the mighty shoes of the late great Johnny Hardwick, seen as Johnny supposedly recorded voice tracks for several episodes before his death. And yeah, if anybody is gonna step in and be Dale, I'd say Toby Huss was probably the best pick that you could make. Oh, and Con is staying with Bill, not sure for how long. It Could be for short term, could be long term. Could be because Bill married Con's mom and he had to move in with his mom and stepdad after men threw him out. We don't know yet. Bobby, according to a leak, is a chef at a Dallas restaurant named Shane Rabada, so I'm guessing it's run and or owned by Chain Wasanasong. Maybe his parents own it, maybe they bought it and gave it to him. What matters is he's Bobby's boss, and Bobby has apparently become quite the chef. Part of me wonders if he ever uses the old Dough-Tree family sauce recipe. Maybe that's what he uses to get ahead. Maybe he reinvents the fruit pie, figures out a way to finally incorporate capers into him. He may have fallen on hard times come the second season because we see him back in his childhood bedroom, so he may have had to move back home. And from the leaked storyboards, it appears that he and Connie rekindle their relationship at some point and start dating again. As far as Peggy, it does look like she drops an F-bomb in an elevator. The show has only had one of these in its entire run, and it was censored on the show. And by on the show, I mean it was Dale cursing on his radio station and he censored himself. It will be interesting to see if they bleep it out or not, considering it's coming out on Hulu and not on Fox like the original run. So, what are my predictions / hopes for the revival? As far as Hank, I figure he'll still be assistant manager of Strickland Propane. It's been less than 10 years. I don't see Buck dying off before the revival. Maybe there's a Ray Roy or two in the picture trying to get in on the business. It remains to be seen. Peggy, it's harder to say. I mean, ask yourself, what was Peggy's job at the end of the series? Do you remember? She was kind of a realtor, though she hadn't sold a house in 6 months, like 6 episodes into the last season. She might still be in realty. I kind of doubt it. She's probably a substitute teacher again. Maybe she reversed her opinion on going back to school and she became a full-time teacher. I figure Bill is still an army barber. Maybe he does food delivery on the side as a way to talk to people. I could see Bill doing that. Fingers crossed that they got him back together with Leoma, though I doubt it. Sadly, I think we may get more of the sad Bill is funny Bill, same old like we did in the original run. It should be interesting to see him and Con interacting like the Odd Couple, though. Dale's probably still with Nancy. She might have reinstated his allowance by that point, which I'm sure he would enjoy. I don't see him doing much exterminating due to his health issues caused by poisons of his own design, and I actually haven't heard anything about Joseph. If he's 21 or so like Bobby, I figure he's off at college playing on a football scholarship. Also, I think it would be awesome if they got Jonathan Joss to voice grown-up Joseph so that he sounds and looks just like John Redcorn. Con and Min are having issues, not sure what from. Maybe Con blew a bunch of money on one harebrained get-rich-quick scheme too many, and Min had finally had enough. Connie is in college, not sure where. Also not sure how she's paying for it, but that could also be what led to her parents splitting up. As I said, she ends up getting back together with Bobby at some point in the revival. All 4 parents catch them together in bed, and that's about as much as we know about her. No clue at all about what's going on with Boomhauer. Like I said, he looks the most aged, so maybe he got married. I'd like it if Catherine came back around, or maybe he was still with that French-Canadian girl. It might also be pretty funny to find out he's got a little bastard Hauer or two out there. Now, with Lucky and Luann, they could go the kill the characters off route due to both Brittany Murphy and Tom Petty sadly passing away. Or, as I've suggested, they just have them move to Montana in order to help Luann's aging grandmother run the ranch. It would be cool to see Gracie show up. Maybe she comes down for summer vacation or something. She can have the same sort of Uncle Hank relationship that her mother did. Another character we'll probably be without is Principal Moss due to the death of his voice actor Dennis Berkeley. And there's a decent chance we won't see a return of Hank's half-Japanese brother Junichiro due to the death of David Carradine. We do have one character that's new that shows up on IMDb who is someone simply known as Muhammad. He's possibly a new neighbor, maybe a co-worker for Hank. You know, I guess we'll find out together. And I think the last person to talk about would be GH and whether we'll see him or not. I, of course, have no clue, but it'd be interesting to see him. Maybe Bobby views him as the boy that ain't right due to the generational differences. I'm cautiously optimistic about the revival. I still have my fingers crossed that Cotton faked his death and he pops back up, but yeah, I know that's not going to happen. And really, the biggest issue I have is that if they were going to do a time skip, then just go ahead and do the actual 16 years that it's been since the end of the show as the time skip. Have Bobby turning 30 with a kid of his own, trying to figure out how to bond with his child like we we saw Hank try to do with Bobby. So yeah, I'm cool with a time jump. I actually wish it was a longer time jump. Hell, I'd have been cool with it being more like 20 years. I mean, that's a nice round number. I'm probably in the minority on that, but hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion. And you know what? I want to hear yours. What's y'all's thoughts on the revival and the leaks and the poster and all the new stuff coming out? Go ahead and let us know down in the comments. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see y'all next time.
Blue moon of Kentucky, keep on shining. Shine on the one that's gonna prove untrue. Blue moon of Kentucky, keep on shining. Shine on the one that's gonna left me blue.